Alright, hey guys, this is Wilechase back with another standard OU Wi-Fi battle. This time, I took it off of the Smogon battle forum, so it's not as serious of a battle, I was just looking for a fun battle to have. And it's versus just a random person on Smogon. I made a new team for this one, a standard OU team. It's a pretty solid team, so let's see how it works out, and I hope you enjoy the battle. Alright, so I briefly looked at the team preview, and I figured he'd probably lead with his Aerodactyl, but I led with my Heatran just in case he didn't, because I really wanted to get my Stealth Rocks up. And when I saw this matchup, I was thinking either Earthquake or Stealth Rock, and maybe he'd go for Taunt, and I didn't want to risk that Earthquake, because I know it's going to 1-hit KO my Heatran, and I really want to get my Rocks up. So I switched out to Rotom, who's of course going to be immune to the Earthquake. And I can easily fight him back since both my stab moves are super effective against Aerodactyl. He gets up his rocks, and I'm assuming he has a Focus Sash, otherwise there's no way he would have stayed in if he was just a standard offensive set. And so he lives with his Focus Sash and he gets his rocks up, so that's good for him. But I'm going to be able to take his hits no problem since I am a physically bulky Rotom. I'm a wall one, and I don't have any special attack EVs. And so I can finish him off, and that gives me an easy 1-0 lead. Though he has his Stealth Rocks up, I'll be okay with that. I don't really have anything that minds Stealth Rocks too much. He goes into Lucario. I know I can take any one hit from him, it doesn't matter what it is. Unless maybe like a banded close combat, but that's not going to happen. So he goes for Shadow Ball, which tells me he's a special variant. And so I'm a little afraid of the Aura Sphere on the next turn to take me out. But I decide to stay in and just go for the Thunderbolt to finish him off so I don't miss my Hydro Pump. And he makes a really risky switch going into his Togekiss, thinking I'm going to Hydro Pump again, since Togekiss is pretty specially bulky, but I just go for a Thunderbolt, which would have finished his Lucario off anyway. And I get a lucky Parahax there, which probably mattered. I'm not running any speed EVs, and I'm assuming he is since he's a Togekiss, and so then I'm able to finish him off with another Thunderbolt, so that's really unfortunate for him, but that's how it goes sometimes. And so my Rotom is really just sweeping through his team. He doesn't have much to deal with it, it seems. He goes into a Zapdos, and I considered going for the Pain Split here, but I was really afraid of him going for a Substitute, which would have been very bad for me because I do not want him to get a free Substitute up since he's a Zapdos. So I just go for a Thunderbolt to break the sub because I know Thunderbolt isn't going to miss, which is really good. And since now I notice that he's just going to go for Thunderbolt, he's not going to go for sub, I'm going to go for a Hydro Pump on the next turn on the off chance that he doesn't decide to kill me, because that's going to do a lot more damage to him. And he goes for Agility, so I'm thinking he's an offensive Agility set. And so I'm going to go into Heatran just to take any of his hits, because this is a especially bulky Heatran. And I'm going to get up my Stealth Rocks, because those are always really helpful. And I know if he switches out, then he'll die to the Stealth Rocks coming back in, making his Zapdos useless. But he actually Baton passes out, which is not something I even considered. And this really worries me, because my physical wall is gone, so this Machamp can one-hit KO, I think, everything I have left on my team. And I just leave Heatran in because I do not want to switch anything into that Dynamic Punch, which is extremely powerful. And I see that he has Life Orb here after he takes me out, which is actually really helpful for me because it means he's going to be racking up damage on himself. So I go into my Scarf Terrakion, which should still outspeed him because it's Scarfed, and Machamp is not all that fast, so even with an Agility, I don't think he's fast enough to outspeed. So I go for a Close Combat to get a lot of damage on him, and that's really good for me, because now he's still going to be taking some of those Life Orb recoils, and after 2 more, he'll die. So I can sack my Terrakion here, since I went for Close Combat, he needs to die anyway. And he takes 1 Life Orb recoil, and the next one will definitely kill him, so I can just sack 1 more of my guys. I go into my Breloom, originally thinking I could bait the Dynamic Punch and go into Dragonite, but then I think he might go for Ice Punch, which I really feared. But he actually goes for Bullet Punch, which I was really wondering why he did that at first. Then I realized that he was probably thinking I was one of those tech looms with Mach Punch, which that makes that logical play, just getting in some damage before he dies. But instead, I go for Sub on the off chance he does something weird, and now he's really in trouble. I thought I was going to get swept, but I really turned this around, and now my Breloom is looking really good against him. He goes for a Dragon Dance here, which I didn't feel like that was a very good play. He should have tried to break my sub. I don't know if he didn't think I'd have Spore or something, But I thought he might have Chesto or Lum even to block my Spore, but I could still get another one up even since he didn't break my sub. But he doesn't even, and he just falls asleep, and he's got that one turn of sleep, and I just take him out with a Focus Punch. I thought he might even be able to live a Focus Punch, because Kingdra's tend to be fairly bulky, but he couldn't even take one. So he goes and uses Lucario, I'm sure, just to break my sub, because he's obviously going to die to even a Seed Bomb at this point, since he's so low. And so he does break my sub, you know, that'll help him out a little bit, but I just put him back to sleep, and now I can get a sub up again. Just Breloom going through his normal routine. It's pretty broken, pretty standard, used a ton, but it sure works. And so I get my sub up again, and even if he wakes up here, you know, I'm not going to take any damage because of my sub, but he doesn't. He sleeps for 2 turns, and oh well, I pretty much have the match in the bag now, since he's running low on pokes, and I still have... Actually, I'm pretty low on pokes too, so I'm a little worried, which is why I'm playing so safe with Breloom. I'm not just going for Focus Punches without putting his guys to sleep and sending him another sub. But his Zapdos comes in and dies. Oh, I guess that was his last Pokemon. I thought he still had another one or two. Well, so that was a good game. I thought he probably could have won if he'd just taken out my Breloom, because the rest of my team wasn't that good looking at his team. It would have been closer. I still might have been able to win, but you know, it wasn't for sure either way. But ended up being that he made the risky move there with his Machamp, thinking I'd want to finish him off, and it just didn't pan out for him. So, good game. Kingdraa is his name. And I don't know if he has a YouTube. I didn't ask him, but if he does, if you end up watching this, you know, you can let me know, and I'll certainly put it in the description. But I hope to see you next time, guys, with another Wi-Fi battle. And I took some of your comments into consideration. Actually, just my friend told me, since I know him, and he told me firsthand. And then one person commented on my channel, and I tried to sound a little more exciting in this. So let me know what you think, and if you have any more critiques to make on what I'm doing here, feel free to let me know. And catch you later. See you. Bye. See you guys. Bye.